Red, yellow, leather. Red leather, yellow feather. Red leather, yellow feather. Wait, what am I? Red leather, yellow feather.
Yellow leather.
Come on.
Not feather. Why are you saying feather?
I don't know.
We're going. We're recording. Why are we?
Good morning. Let's argue.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
This is Mirage. I'm Poe. Yeah. Welcome to our podcast. Today, Mirage is going to introduce us to our topic.
Well, we're going to be talking about the Kung Fu Panda movie series.
Yes.
And, we thought this was an appropriate topic because Kung Fu Panda 4 is being released soon on March 8th, 2024.
Super exciting. It's pretty soon.
It looks like it could be a pretty good movie. Hopefully not another disappointing cartoon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's been a lot of disappointing movies.
Their last movie that they made was Puss in Boots, and that movie was...
It was good,
That movie was really good.
I mean, Kung Fu Panda 3 even was not needed, but it was... I still loved that movie.
Yeah.
I watched the movie at least 20 times.
When someone told me Kung Fu Panda 4 was coming out, I immediately got the, Toy Story 4... feelings of dread, oh great, they're making a movie for no reason, and now they're even making a fifth Toy Story movie. So
wait, seriously?
Yep. When it stops making money, they'll stop making movies.
Well, I mean, the fourth one was kind of bad.
Oh no, it was pretty horrible.
There's two funny parts,
and the new characters were really.
Everything else was kind of.
I didn't like the new characters. I thought it was it's still Toy Story, so it's still entertaining.
The vibe was kind of
it was
weird
off.
Though, it was off.
It's kind of hard to have a Toy Story movie without Andy. And I don't think that's necessarily their fault, because Andy's not even in the movie most of the time. But they tried so hard to make Bonnie involved. This is not Toy Story. Why are we talking about Toy Story? We can talk about Toy Story another day. Yeah, Toy Story could make a pretty good episode.
Good.
But today we're talking about Kung Fu Panda. Yeah. And I think before we start talking about the movies, we should talk about the upcoming film with its trailer.
Yeah.
What do you think from just the trailer alone?
Oh, well... I mean, it looks pretty exciting. We got Kung Fu Panda, and he's moving up the ladder in his power. Mm-hmm. Now he's some spiritual leader in the...
He's like Goku.
Yeah. New villain, Big Snake.
Chameleon.
Yeah, Chameleon.
Not close at all, but...
Oh, yeah. Chameleon. And in the trailer, as you can see, turns into a bigger, scarier version of Po.
Yeah. Where
Po says... I'm gonna kick my own butt. Something like that.
The cheesiest trailer possible.
Really cheesy, but,
The animation looks great.
It does.
It looks just as good, if not better, than the third one.
Oh! What we did not see, though, were any of the other...
Furious 5.
Yeah.
Not present at all. Instead, we got Awkwafina, which is not an improvement.
Okay, Awkwafina. Let's talk about her for a moment.
Let's talk about her.
She was cool at first.
She started out, and a lot of movies that she was in were pretty funny. I know lots of people tell like Crazy Rich Asians. I personally thought Awkwafina was a better part of that film. Mm-hmm. But in recent years, I have grown to hate her voice.
Especially after the new Little Mermaid movie. That song she sang.
I haven't seen the movie, but I've heard the song, and quite frankly, I don't want to see the movie anymore. Dude, or she was even good in Jumanji too.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed
her in that.
And I love that movie for the whole everybody gets to do an impression of Danny DeVito thing, but she actually did a good job. And then... It's so weird, because Awkwafina is so hit or miss. In Raya and the Last Dragon, I hate that movie. But Awkwafina is pretty good in that film. And honestly, kind of carries the movie a little bit. In terms of, comedy and, voice acting. But in, every other movie that she's, in, it's either she's, one of the best parts or the absolute worst. And it's probably because she actually does sound like a seagull. I think she was typecast for Little Mermaid. She sounds like quacking like that.
Yeah. I think the problem with her is that she basically plays the same character in every movie.
In every film.
And it's not that she's a bad actor. She does good at what she plays, but it's the same person that she's acting as.
It's
and
a Donnie Wahlberg.
It just kind of gotten old. And then, in a sense, she's unique, and that's good. But, yeah, she's gotten kind of old. Kind of sick of her.
Is it Mark Wahlberg that's in the Transformers films?
He's in the fourth and fifth Transformers.
Yeah, no, he plays the same guy in every movie too.
Yeah,
he's got the same thing. But
I
at
love
least
Mark.
when I see Mark Wahlberg, I'm like, yo, Mark Wahlberg's in this movie. That's sick.
He's one of the reasons why I started working out. Cause, like,
Dude, that guy
he's kind of ripped.
jacked.
Yeah.
He could fight Optimus Prime. Don't get me wrong.
Him and Ryan Gosling are like kind of my two workout idols.
Yeah,
As for shape and build, you know.
I think Ryan Gosling should be in Kung Fu Panda. He does great voice work.
Ryan Gosling is in a lot of good movies.
But like, I don't know, Awkwafina is just like, I'll have to see when it comes out, but she's one of the secondary characters of the film. So she's either going to make or break that film for me. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. On top of that, we have a supporting cast of homicidal children rabbits, a bunch of criminals.
There's been a lot of homicidal children in these movies.
Kids.
You know, in the Mario movie, there's what is it? The star thing?
Oh yeah, that stupid Luma. Oh my gosh. And it wouldn't shut up.
Or depressed. Not really homicidal.
More like nihilistic. It was like so craving death.
I think it's kind of funny though.
It was pretty funny, but it got old. Every time I watch the movie from now on, I'm like,
I kind of love that part.
I know that everyone else loves it, but every time it comes on, I'm like, okay, this is how we're remembering Mario Galaxy, is with this nihilistic, like, suicidal star. But
yeah, Mario movie. That's another good topic for another day.
we're gonna have to do that one too.
Yeah. So fourth movie.
Super exciting stuff.
Little worried about just a few little things, but for the most part, it looks promising.
Overall positive. Especially bringing back Tai Lung, because I think Tai Lung is like the coolest. I love Tai Lung. I hope they bring back Kai and the peacock from the second movie.
I say the peacock so far is my least favorite of all the villains.
Yeah, he wasn't really the main villain role. I felt like it was more Poe finding himself than it was.
Kind of like a filler movie. I still love that movie though.
I still love that movie. So let's get to talking about the actual movies then.
Yeah.
Which one should we just start
with the first?
Chronological order?
Yeah.
I love the first movie. It's definitely one of those movies where when you were just talking about this a second ago, but I think everyone had this movie at some point in their car playing on loop because you couldn't figure out how to turn the TV off. Yeah. And all we had was DVDs. So it was like, well, until you find another DVD to put in there, you get to watch a bomber movie for a while.
That's not even a joke. I went on a road trip with a few friends years ago, and we had a DVD player in the car, and we only had one movie, and that was Kung Fu Panda. And we watched that probably 20 times on that car trip, and we still loved it every time.
Yeah, totally. It is a great film from start to finish. First of all, the concept is super unique, and I think it shines through for the whole movie. Like, obviously, anthropomorphic animals that can talk is not anything new. Like, Disney's been doing it for years and should stop. But, like, the idea that there's, like, a whole village filled with people who, like, worship these 5 warriors, and this one guy is, like, their biggest fan. He's, like, the resident comic book fan almost in that world. And it's, like, the characters and their designs and the whole, like, world building at the very start works super well. And I think a lot of what makes that movie charming is left especially up to the cast of the film. So, like, for example, I think we should save Poe for later, because I could go off on a tangent about Jack Black. But, like, first of all, I think the Furious Five are really cool characters. I think Crane and Viper are just, like, pushed aside. They're never used unless it's for a joke. But, like,
do you know who plays them?
I know. I think it's. Oh, I can't remember who voices. I don't remember the guy who voices Crane. I just remember that he's in Arrested Development and he's the bad guy in Alvin and the Chipmunks. Mm-hmm. I know that I do not know the voice of Viper. But Angelina Jolie plays Tigress. Seth Rogen plays Mantis. And Jackie Chan plays Monkey.
I didn't know that either. Jackie Chan?
Okay, Lucy Liu plays Viper.
Got some big names in there.
What is she in? She's in Kill Bill, Charlie's Angels, Why Women Kill, Shazam and the Fury of the Gods, Kung Fu Panda. What? She's in that movie? Oh. She's in a lot of movies. Oh, Tinkerbell. Well, there we go. Now I know where she's from. Yeah, she's in a lot of films, but I don't really know her for anything other than Kung Fu Panda. There's also Dustin Hoffman, who plays Master Shifu. We've got a lot of big names. Oh, David Cross, that's his name. He's that guy. He's the one who plays.
Oh, I see.
Crane. Yeah, lots of really good voice actors, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got some good voice actors in there, or at least famous. You know, really anyone can be a good voice actor. Mm-hmm. But they are good voice actors, just famous ones.
Especially the main roles like Shifu and Oogway and Oogway.
Kung Fu Panda, you know, the first movie, it was an original movie when it first came out. You know, the second, third one aren't necessarily original since now it's a franchise.
Yeah.
Maybe original to its series. We'll see with the fourth one if it will be like, you know, completely new and different, or if it's just going to be kind of like the same thing but different villain.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's kind of a original idea, and fortunately we don't really see those in movies anymore.
Yeah.
For instance, Elemental. I feel like that's kind of rip-offs Utopia.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people. First of all, I've got to give Elemental some credit right off the bat because it's better than it looked like it was gonna be. It's actually it's pretty good. There are some decent parts, but it's not creative.
Our expectations were so low for it that like
anything could have impressed me.
Really.
But no, there are some genuine fans of that movie. I agree with you. I think it's not. Oh, excuse me. It's not a very original movie. I don't think I can really rap on that movie that much because I was totally wrong. I thought it was going to be the worst movie Pixar had ever made.
There were worse.
There's worse. Good Dinosaur can exist in a bubble for now.
That one's actually in a good era of movies too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Kung Fu Panda definitely stood out. It was around the same time that they were making. DreamWorks has always been pretty good at original films. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I definitely think that had that going in its favor. And on top of that, I think it also had a good plot and characterization. For example, I love the idea of Tai Lung and Po because or like Tai Lung and Tigress, I mean, because their story is the same, but it's the ending that's different, and that's like such a cool duality. And then you have Po.
I mean, I feel like we see that a lot in a lot of movies, but it was portrayed and executed very well in a kids movie.
Yeah, it makes for a really cool villain. And then I think Poe's inner struggle is super cool. He definitely like
it's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny because
stairs.
Not what I meant. No, he has like what you know, like that meme where it's like the class clown when he gets home, and it's like that kid like crying all the time. Yeah, it's like Kung Fu Panda Poe has that same exact kind of struggle where it's like he can act all confident and like try his best to like live up to his own like vision of himself, but at the end of the day, he doesn't really feel that way about himself. So it was a really interesting plot.
I love that intro scene when he's dreaming.
When he's daydreaming,
he's actually dreaming.
Yeah, you're right.
In the very beginning of the movie, and him and the Furious Five are like destroying a whole army, and then he wakes up, and he's like,
"Get up, Poe, you'll be late for work."
Yeah. Oh, he's got his action figures, and he starts like, you know, getting all into character, and then someone across the street.
Yeah, he's like, him. And then he like looks out his window, and there's that lady like watering flowers, and she just looks like so concerned.
Yeah.
I relate to Poe on many levels. First of all, we share a name, which is pretty sick.
That's true.
Second of all, we're both super into action figures, which I thought was awesome. I still think it's super cool.
Got a huge collection.
And he totally like is like a total daydreamer, and I think that's awesome. He's got a really cool and relatable character.
Yeah.
And that definitely comes 80% of the fact of that is because it's a well-read movie, and the other 20% of it is because Jack Black is voicing Poe. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I don't know what I could do beyond praise Jack Black forever and ever for his voice role. Yeah. He is so good at voicing characters. He's always been good at voicing characters, but he definitely shines a lot more in Kung Fu Panda just because of his like elaborate and over-the-top performance.
Yeah.
Before we move on to Kung Fu Panda 2, I have one more thing about it that I want to go over, but do you have anything else that you want to add?
I want to talk about Oogway's iconic
I
death.
was just gonna say Oogway is like the meme of that. I mean, there's a ton of that meme. That whole movie's a meme factory.
Well, the funny thing is, the meme is like, all the boys crying from Oogway's passing away.
But like everything Tai Lung says ends up becoming a meme. All the weird faces
I forgot.
becomes a meme.
There's a lot of Kung Fu Panda memes, especially
memes.
from the first movie, really.
Yeah, but yeah, it definitely takes its purest form in the form of Oogway's Ascension, which, by the way, is probably one of the best musical scores for a film ever written. It is so good.
I don't know if I'd say that because there's so many amazing scores.
Dude, it is one of Hans Zimmer's best works by far.
I think there's like 200 movies with like the best score. And Kung Fu Panda being by Hans Zimmer can probably be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, Hans Zimmer is amazing, so.
DreamWorks in general has pretty good soundtracks. I mean, we could literally, what we could do right now is we could pause the recording, have our listeners listen to Oogway Ascends on Spotify, if they haven't already, and then we'll cut right back to our podcast and we can continue talking from where we are right now.
I think if they want to listen to it, they can just pause their podcast and...
I mean, they could, or we could take advantage of the feature. I'm just saying.
Is that actually a feature?
That's actually a thing you can do. I was thinking if we do a Doom episode, what if, like, every time we talk about it, we can be like, here's an interlude from this song from Doom, and then cut to that song. I think it could be something cool. Yeah. But, yeah, something to think about in the future. But, yeah, Oogway is a meme factory. Everything about him, from the way he speaks to the way he dies, is absolutely memed to death. Even that side cartoon that they did where he like saves Monkey's life, and Monkey's like, "You saved me. Why?" And he just goes, "Monkey," like that.
That's right.
Where he goes, "Monkey," like that became a meme instantly. And
I forgot that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah, that's definitely one of the other reasons I love that movie, just because Oogway is a goofball.
Well, of course, you also have one of the other great memes when Po first fights Tai Lung in, the Dragon Palace? Is that what it
Oh,
is?
yeah. The Jade Palace?
Yeah, the Jade Palace. And it's like, when they're falling down the stairs and Tai Lung gets smothered by Po's butt. A lot of memes from that.
My favorite one is... Po, so that is his name. Finally, a worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary. And he like shakes his fist in the air. The amount of memes that come out of that one are great. Or when he walks in the room and he's like, that's a panda. He's a panda. What are you gonna do, fat guy? Sit on me?
And then it just cuts to him sitting.
Don't tempt me. Yeah,
so funny.
Soon enough. Yeah, so I love that movie. It's definitely gained its status for a reason. And honestly, it definitely had a good reason to make a sequel because, according to Google, it made around $215 million in lifetime gross from the first film. So it definitely made some moolah. And then even when it got re-released in 2021, it made $337,000.
Really?
Yeah, so it's proven that it's still relevant on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Speaking of still relevant, we should do an episode about Megamind soon.
Oh man, Megamind. That is such an original, well done movie.
Did you just call a movie about a Superman ripoff an original film?
Yes.
I mean, I agree with you, but people definitely thought it was a parody at first. Really? It kind of has a parody-like nature, but it's definitely its own film.
I mean, nothing can really be truly original at this point.
Obviously.
But, I mean, it's an original cartoon.
It's pretty original, I would agree.
Close as you can really get to fully original. It's just an amazing movie. All right, well, first movie, The Final Battle with the Skadoosh. Such an iconic thing to that movie.
The Skadoosh will live down in history as like the best finishing move of all time. I barely even grab people's finger with like 3 fingers and put my pinky down without, some serious caution. Because who knows? Po could totally just kill them without trying. Mm-hmm. It's that powerful. Oh my gosh. Real quick. What if there was a DreamWorks fighting game, and there have been DreamWorks fighting games in the past, but what if his final smash or a counter, he grabbed you and said skadoosh, and it like blew you up? I would
kind of sick.
I would play that game instantly. Kung Fu Panda versus Shrek would be such a fight.
Kung Fu Panda, add to Smash Bros. Maybe.
Let's get on that. Mr. Sakurai, if you're listening, if we could just please get Poe, that's Pothe, Panda, Poe the Panda from the DreamWorks, I think it's 2008 film Kung Fu Panda. If you could just add him to the game, please, I would deeply appreciate it. I'll give you a little skadoosh. Just joking, no I won't, but please just add a little skadoosh kind of a thing. Just sorry about that, headphone listeners, that was probably bad.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyway, so Numero dos.
Oh wait, speaking of Smash Bros, they don't really add movie characters though, do they?
No, unless you count Cloud.
Really?
Final Fantasy VII got a movie, and his movie costume is actually in the game.
Well, a game originally, though, right?
Right, but his costume and final attack from the movie are in the game.
Oh.
And there are some characters who have stuff that's directly from movies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why they're stopping at, like, Goku. I don't know why they can't add Goku and Shrek to the game, but, you know,
now, if we start adding movie characters to Smash Bros, though, then Smash Bros is just going to be...
Smash Bros is going to be Fortnite, but cooler.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
I mean, it's not just video game characters from Nintendo and Sega. It's going to be, like...
pop culture.
Just the culture of this world.
We're going to get, like, 2D 1980s Mickey as a skin for Game & Watch. Okay.
That'd be sick.
That would actually
All right,
be that would be boss. Anyway, this is not a
Kung Fu
Smash...
Panda 2.
Despite the fact that it's always going to be talking about this is not a Smash Bros. Podcast. Just know that we're going to bring it up every chance we get. Kung Fu Panda 2. High five.
Yeah.
Skadoosh.
Kung Fu Panda 2.
Skadoosh. Anyway, sorry. I should really stop, like, whispering into the microphone.
I hate ASMR. Okay. That was a little gross. Yeah.
Okay, we should stop now. Anyways.
I seriously actually
sorry
hate
about that, guys.
ASMR. I think it's... No offense
I love
to
ASMR.
anyone who listens to it
Kung Fu
or
Panda
makes
ASMR would honestly go so hard. I love ASMR.
I think ASMR is gross, personally.
Really?
No offense to anyone.
My favorite one is this guy who takes video game controllers and just clicks the buttons and flicks. Oh,
okay,
sound.
what was... I like funny ASMR. Not because, like, it's pleasurable, but, like, because it's funny. Like, Batman ASMR, he farts.
Or, like, Funky Kong
and,
ASMR. You like the sound of his fart?
It's funny. I don't like the sound. No pleasure
Talk about Batman
whatsoever. But...
Well, it's not about pleasure. Why are you making
it's
this,
a sensory thing. ASMR.
Yeah, it's not like pleasure, though.
What does ASMR stand for again? The acronym or whatever.
It's acronyms suck much.
That's not it.
Really?
Why don't I just...
No, it's just... Why are we talking about this?
Why are we?
We're talking about Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda 2, everyone. Like Owen said, it was kind of a filler film. It was... I'm not going to lie. For a film that really did not need to exist, it's pretty sick, honestly. The fights and the lore and story that's added to it is, like, so cool.
I mean, it's obviously the worst of the three movies so far.
What? Seriously?
It's not as good as the first or third, but that being said, it's not an amazing movie.
How is it not as good as the third?
I like the third more, personally.
Okay, so here we go. Here's the Good Morning, Let's Argue part of
Oh,
Good Morning,
yeah,
Let's
argue
So,
a bit here.
how do you think the third one is better than the second one? Explain that to me.
I like the villain in the third one a lot more. I
Really?
feel like he's more involved in the movie than the bird is in the second one.
Right.
And the final battle in the third one, I mean, you know, it's good in the second one. You know, Poe starts turning the fireballs.
He throws cannonballs at ships.
Which is cool, but Poe in the third one, he turns into a dragon. Man,
yeah, that's like
that
the dumbest
final
scene.
battle when I saw that like 5 years ago.
This is why you like the Transformers
I mean,
films.
I love that scene. Gave me shivers.
I thought the third final battle was really good. But in both cases, I would say 2 delivers better because the villain, while not as involved, is so much more central to the story. Kai, in the third film, is a really good villain, but he's more Oogway's villain than he is Poe's. And despite the fact that I love J.K. Simmons and his voice work is amazing, I don't think his villain is as good because it's not relevant to Poe. Mm-hmm. In the second film, it's very clearly emphasized what the connection is between Poe and Shang, I think. Yeah, Shang, that's his name. Mm-hmm. And it's the fact that he killed his mom and his whole family. And then in the third movie, just joking, no, they're not dead at all. I was just, all of that important stuff in the second film, you can just throw that out. Basically, the only one who died is Poe's mom.
I mean, I see what you're saying.
Like, I
understand.
don't think it's a bad plot. I just think it's a very safe plot, and I don't like it compared to the risk-taking new ideas that they had in the second one. First of all, that whole backstory with him having a mom and a dad at all is really cool, and it takes everything in the first movie and just like turns it on its head. There's also a lot more character development in the second one than there is in the third, but I only say that because there's more character development surrounding all the characters. I would say in the third one it's a lot more focused around Poe and how he's trying to cope with the loss of his mom and his dad
and all the people on the island.
Yeah,
no, island, village, whatever.
I would just say the
island.
third one has a better focus on the main character than the second one does. But that's almost why I like the second one better, because the second one has a bigger cast with more diverse characters. Like Shifu is almost not even involved in the movie until the end. And the fights in that film are so good. There's like the boat fight where everyone is like coming in and attacking.
I remember that.
And then the boat blows up. Like everyone's out of commission, and it's the only one who stands up is Poe to defend all of his friends. And he like, after trying so hard to learn like inner peace and patience, achieves like this nirvana state where he could literally catch that cannonball and turn it around. I thought that escalation in the plot of Poe actually losing instead of just kicking butt all the time made it a lot more interesting. But what would you say?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but still like the third one more. I mean, I watched that every day for about 2 months.
The third one?
Yeah. And also, I kind of like that he discovers his parents. Not like that event itself, but like the village he goes to with all of his kind. I just kind of like it.
Yeah.
I like the vibe of it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more... I think the third one has a better kind of vibe to it in terms of like good feels and like emotions.
And yeah,
the second one has a dark and really sad tone almost the whole time.
Still.
But it's still really good. My favorite scene in the second one, since we're talking about the second one first, is probably the tower climb, where they have to climb to the top to avoid getting shot. And then they shoot the bottom of the tower with the cannon, so now they have to climb all the way back down, like the Furious Five and Poe.
Wait, in the second movie?
In the second film.
Is that when Poe is struggling with climbing upstairs? I can't remember. Because I know he climbs upstairs to meet the bird dude.
So before he meets Shang, they have him in cuffs. And this is before they use their plan to escape. And he walks up to the stairs and he goes, "My greatest nemesis." And he zooms out and he goes, "Stairs." And that is probably the best joke in the entire series. Bar none. But I don't know who wrote that, but it is classic.
You know, I don't really struggle getting upstairs, but, you know...
But I felt it.
There's been plenty of times when I have embarrassingly tripped on stairs in public, you know...
I think, I get Poe, honestly. The dude has to climb stairs, hundreds of stairs, in all 4 movies. The 4th one hasn't even come out yet. And he's already tripping on stairs at the start of the film.
There's nothing like tripping on stairs in middle school in front of all this judgmental...
Yeah.
I
think Poe hit a little too close to home with that stairs joke, dude.
Yeah.
A little too personal. I know.
I mean, we don't have a problem getting upstairs, but you know, you trip, it happens. But Poe, dude's
got to climb thousands every day. Oh.
What if that's the final boss in the 4th movie?
The chameleon just turns into stairs instead of Poe.
And he has to climb the stairs.
I'm gonna kick my butt
to kill.
Kicks his butt, and the chameleon turns into a giant, endless thing of stairs. Oh,
what if that actually happens?
If Poe knew the endless staircase in Mario 64 existed, he'd probably have a panic attack.
I want to make a prediction. I bet at some point the chameleon will disguise itself as stairs in one way or another.
That'd be pretty sick, actually.
Not that they're gonna battle as stairs against Panda, but like.
I have another prediction. Like Awkwafina's gonna make fun of Kung Fu or make fun of Poe for hating stairs, and she's gonna be like running up at full speed.
Yeah.
Either way, so the second one, really good. I'm gonna have to watch it again sometime, and
it's been a while.
Reevaluate it because I love it. I love it to death. And
I remember it enough though.
I had seen it like a year ago, and I was like, dude, I thought I hated this film. Like I totally hadn't seen it in a long time, So I thought it sucked, but I couldn't remember. So glad I rewatched it because I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, good film. I would say one thing about their DreamWorks and their trilogies, they have a pretty consistent quality.
Wait. How to Train Your Dragon? That's DreamWorks, correct?
Yes, and those movies are all three consistently really good.
Are amazing.
I think it gets worse as it goes on, but they're all still
Well,
like
actually,
9 out of
the
10.
first one is probably the best. The second
yeah,
one
definitely. But
is
that's
still a
true
good
for
movie,
Kung
just
Fu
not
Panda.
as good. And the third one, I feel like is close to the first.
Yeah. I
In
would
my
say
opinion.
the only time when it's the least consistent is Madagascar, where the first one is good, the second one is somehow better, and the third one is okay, but not bad.
I actually really liked the third one, but it's been
Madagascar?
at least 5 years since I've seen it.
I didn't hate it at all. I just thought, compared to the other two, I'd really preferred the first and second. So,
Now, what I really loved, though, was the Penguins movie.
sorry. I'm moving the mic a lot. I'm not trying to.
good.
Yeah, the Penguins movie is really good.
That's another movie.
Maybe we'll have to talk about
binged-watched
Madagascar.
every freaking day.
Yes,
for about
Rico,
3 months.
kaboom. Those Penguins just carry those movies. Them and King Julian.
I think in the Penguins movie, it was the vending machine scene that I laughed at every time. They're
Was it the one where they're like getting the cheese balls and the technical
Yes.
comes out? It's Lethal Company.
Yo,
Bro!
no way.
Penguins Madagascar is a metaphor for Lethal Company. No. Anyways, let's talk
Yeah,
about
DreamWorks is consistent.
DreamWorks is definitely consistent. They until Puss in Boots and the third and fourth Shrek film, they had never done anything bad.
Did not like. Oh wait, no, I've only seen the first 2 Shrek movies. No,
The first 2 are the best ones. You don't ever need to see third and fourth. They're that bad.
I've seen the first and second. I wasn't a big fan of the second. The first one I loved though.
You might want to watch the second one again. It actually,
I just watched it
when I
like 2 months ago.
when I
It's
first watched the
fresh.
second one, I was like, this is stupid. And then I watched it again, and the meme relevancy of that movie
It's got good memes.
has never
It
been
does.
more real, especially with Prince Charming. That guy is hilarious.
I'm just not a big fan of the fairy godmother.
We're gonna have to
as
watch the third and
villain.
what? I love the fairy godmother. She's so funny.
I just love the first
We'll
one.
have to, you and me will have to binge those movies, and that'll be another episode. This whole episode is just about more episodes. By the way. Sorry about that.
Kind of just like a big DreamWorks plus some other random Disney cartoons.
Like a little, what's the word? Comprehensive review.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to watch those movies. Before we move on to the third Kung Fu Panda movie, should we talk about the other shows that they've done? Or have you not seen them?
I have seen. I don't know if I've seen any of the shows. I think I may have seen a few episodes. It was like a more of a cartoonier
Yeah,
version.
a 2D cartoon, yeah.
I've seen like a few episodes from that. I don't really remember it. I just remember not liking it
Yeah.
very much.
All I can say about
and they had some shorts on Netflix too.
Yeah, they just barely made a show on Netflix too that immediately did what every Netflix show in the history of the world has done, and taken the male character that's like the face of the franchise, made him stupid, weak, or dead in the first episode, and then replaced him with a female protagonist, which is by no means a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have a female protagonist. It's bad to take a beloved character like He-Man or Master Chief on his Halo TV show, or Poe the Panda, or there's a few actually.
I mean, we don't
I keep
have
going.
any problem with any of the feminism or
I don't
whatever.
have a
We don't
problem with
really want to
feminism at
get into the politics, but
I just
it's
want-
just it didn't make it as good.
It didn't. It's not that it made it better. There was no reason to take that character out just to make him look stupid compared to a girl. I just thought that Kung Fu Panda doing the same
Which really,
thing
I don't really have
was
a problem with that either.
because, like, I
But
don't
it's
have a
just
problem with
not-
feminism at all.
they just-
Tigress
yeah,
in Kung
just
Fu
didn't
Panda,
make
for
it good.
example, is a sick character. She kicks butt and is super cool. I love when she's like, hit me in Kung Fu Panda 2 and holds out her hand, and he punches her hand, and he's like, ow! And he's like screaming in pain, and she goes, I used to punch like trees with the palms of my fist and go until I would break the tree. And he just like looked like he like holds his fist, and he turns and looks at her like, what? So don't get me wrong, it's not that I have a problem with female protagonists, it's that I have a problem with ruining or like completely destroying
I just have a
character
problem with
just to-
bad entertainment.
Yeah. You know what wouldn't be a bad thing is replacing the male protagonist with a female protagonist and then making a good show. Scott Pilgrim's TV show does that, and guess what? It's pretty friggin' good. Mm-hmm. And it's not because they had to, but yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, we're pretty unbiased on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's still a controversial topic, so we can talk about that another time.
We're just not going to talk about it because if we do, people will cancel us for having our opinions. But that's
someone's going to be angry.
Someone's going to be upset. Either way, let's talk about Kung Fu Panda Twist.
Just real quick though, we respect everyone's opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Unless you like Earthbound, there's no reason to hate your opinion.
Even if you completely disagree with us politically, which we don't really want to talk about that.
Again, this is a podcast about our opinions, and if yours differ, sucks to suck. But no, thank you for disagreeing. And quite frankly, I was actually going to bring this up at the end, but I would appreciate it if you guys...
Actually, maybe we can get into some more controversial things, because this podcast is kind of, in its name is about arguing.
Yeah, let's argue. So
not exactly like mean arguing, but kind of considering other people's opinions.
A debate, if you will.
Debating, yeah.
So I'm going to put a Q&A in the aftermath of this episode, and I'm going to need you guys to answer it, and it's going to be like, would you like to hear about more controversial topics, less controversial topics, or you can go into the actual Q&A that asks, how was this episode? And I need you to either ask us a question or comment about what you want us to talk about next, or both. Just anything that you want. As we move on to Kung Fu Panda 3, though, I want you guys to think about some questions that you can ask us, and then maybe soon enough we'll do a Q&A episode where we can answer some of the listeners' questions.
Yeah.
All right. Kung Fu Panda 3. The third one.
I don't know
if
I like the first one or the third one more.
I think I like the first one more. But I also just argued with you about why I don't think the third one was just a second, so I can't really talk. If it comes between the first and the third, though, I would pick the first every time. I just think it's got... First of all, it's more iconic. I think the final fight is more meaningful. Not as cool, but more meaningful from a story perspective. When it comes to final fight, it's kind of hard to beat the third movie. Because it's really good... Except the dragon part. No, I'm kidding. I like the dragon part, but it's kind of silly. It's funny, but it's kind of ridiculous. Where he bounces him on his belly and stuff.
Yeah,
I love it. It's probably my favorite part of the film. But I could see why, from a super critical perspective, I could see someone hating the film because the last part is silly or something. There's always that critic who's like, I don't like the Mario movie because it's made for kids. So
it's a kid's movie.
It's literally a kid's movie, so people are taking it a bit too seriously. But I don't know. I really like the third one. I think the concept is there, and it's definitely... I really like him and his dad, his relationship with his dad.
I don't really remember the relationship. I just remember
they're just they're like the same guy. They're like the same guy in different bodies. Remember when they go to the Jade Palace and they're messing around with all the gadgets and stuff?
Oh, I remember.
That's what I mean. By the fact that they're just two minds. But I think it's a really good way that I thought they were going to wrap up the franchise. I didn't have a problem with them continuing from it, and it left a lot of room for them to be like, hey, we still got more to say about Poe and stuff, but I thought it was really good. What do you think?
The third one?
Yeah.
I mean, as I already said, I don't know if I like the first or third one more. I mean, kind of already covered this arguing about the second and third movie, which one's better,
But there are other things to talk about too. Like, for example, the animation style drastically changed between the second and third.
Did it really?
Yeah, they went for a more bouncy, bubbly look with bigger eyes and more prominent cartoony features. Mm-hmm. It was taken a lot less seriously than the first and second films. Not that the first and second films are super serious or anything, but it was definitely toned down a little bit, and that artistic change kind of reflects the movie's plot a little bit too.
Yeah.
In terms of plot, I would say, in my personal opinion, I think it has the weakest plot of the three. Because it feels a lot like the second plot. And the first plot had a little itty bitty baby, and it was the Panda Village. And it's not bad. I think it's a really good plot, and I love that they brought back Oogway in the third one, because he's really funny in that one. But overall, I thought it was one of those films where it's more fun to watch and less fun to you're not as invested in the story. But what do you think?
I was pretty invested in the story. I mean, for it being a kids movie,
Right, of course.
I guess you can't really beat the first movie in story because that's where it starts. Right. That's where it gets its originality. You know what starts out the franchise. Mm-hmm. So I guess in that sense, first movies are always better.
Yeah.
Except in the case of Thor.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
I mean, first and second Thor were kind of lame.
We need to
talk about.
One was we need to so talk good. About Thor.
One of the greatest movies of all time is Thor Ragnarok.
How did Thor go from like absolute poop?
Oh yeah, and the fourth one sucked. That's right.
Okay, if Thor was poop, the first one would be poop. The second one would be diarrhea. And the third one would be Hestu's poop from the Breath of the Wild game, where it's literally golden and shimmering. And the fourth one would be fake golden poop, where it seems like it's good, and then it's not.
I remember that, because the trailer looked really good.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a Ragnarok.
I'm a big fan of Guns N' Roses music, and it played, 4 Guns N' Roses songs in the movie. But
speaking of which, Seven Nation Army in the trailer.
Oh, for Kung Fu Panda 4. That's right. I forgot to talk about that.
That was kind of dope. What other rock song? Okay, wait. I've got to look up if they have any other pop songs in these Kung Fu Panda movies. I don't think they do, though.
But yeah,
outside of Kung Fu fighting, we got to talk about that in a second. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but, other than the music in Thor 4, I was bored.
Yeah.
And in fact, I love the music in the 4th Thor. You got Sweet Child of Mine, Paradise City, November Rain. I think there's one more. Welcome to the Jungle. That's right. Some of my favorite songs. But the song placement was bad, which for me was really sad because, Guns N' Roses is like my music idol.
I don't mean to be rude, but I just remembered that we were talking about Kung Fu Panda 3, and now we're talking about Thor.
Okay, Thor 4 was really bad.
We can't bring up the T word.
It looked like it was going to be really good, but then it was awful.
Thor is going to become like a curse word on this podcast, because as soon as you bring up Thor, it's going to become either the biggest, most controversial thing we talk about.
You Thor.
Oh, don't even. Okay, let's
Thor
talk about...
Thor kind of sounds like whore.
Yeah. The soundtrack of these is... Oh, wait! I have to talk about my favorite part of Kung Fu Panda 3. Okay. And it's the fact that Imagine Dragons' song, I'm So Sorry, is the main theme of Kai, but instrumental.
Really? I did not know that.
Like the do-do-do-do, do-do-do. Yeah, that's I'm So Sorry from Smoke and Mirrors by Imagine Dragons. Yeah.
I'm
one
not
of their
a
best
fan.
Albums, by the way.
Actually... So I hate Imagine Dragons for the most part. I think they have 2 or 3 songs that I actually enjoy. But other than that, I think their music is trash. No offense.
No, I get it. Honestly,
but yeah, that instrumental rendition
is garbage.
I haven't listened to their new stuff. But yeah,
Thunder. You've heard Thunder.
That's been around for ever, I feel like.
Yeah, but that's one of their newer songs. All
from
of their
10
new
years
songs.
ago?
I hate the majority of their new songs.
I hate Thunder, but
Thunder's awful. But
that instrumental rendition in Kung Fu Panda is amazing.
You should hear the original too. I'm gonna play the original for you after this. But yeah, from 2010 to 2015, they had good music. So yeah, my favorite part of that movie was actually the fact that song is in there, and it sounds pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. They also
I love that theme.
It's
I felt
super
kind of awesome.
Yeah,
watching the movie,
it gives you chills. I also love Oogwayism and Kung Fu Fighting from the first one.
Oogwayism, of course, is
it's a masterpiece.
Anyone who knows memes even knows that song. Yeah. Oogwayism.
It's only what's it? Oh yeah, Where Boys Cry, and it's some sad part in a serious movie that everyone cried. The ending of Titanic, Where Boys Cry, and it's Where Men Cry. And it's Oogway Ascends, or Qui-Gon Jinn dying in Star Wars Lego.
In case you don't know, we're talking about girls versus boys memes.
Yeah. How did he not cry? Does he have any emotions? Boys, and it's Oogway Ascends is playing. They're just sobbing.
It's kind of true though. And in fact, the Barbie movie, what's really funny is the I'm Just Ken scene, which is, by the way, the best part of the whole movie. I love that song, actually.
Oh, we have to talk about Barbie and some
Frick.
I'll quickly say one thing. Crap, what was I gonna say?
The I'm Just Ken part.
Oh yeah,
because
it's kind of a girls versus boys meme. Because girls kind of laugh at that scene, but then boys are all dang, I feel
that's relatable, bro. Yeah. Oh,
it's really funny.
I thought it was really funny how from that movie, the Ken part of the movie blew up a lot more than the Barbie part. Like, I didn't see many Barbie shirts, but I saw I'm Knuff everywhere.
I have an I'm Knuff shirt.
So that's a movie we're gonna have to talk about. But absolutely, Kung Fu Panda's soundtracks kind of slapped, and I would say Hans Zimmer in general. We can talk about Hans Zimmer.
I think he's one of the best composers.
He might be one of, like, him and John Williams might be my favorite composers of all time, bar none.
I mean, Hans Zimmer did Inception.
Didn't he do
amazing movie with, of course, his
did he do
amazing
Pirates
soundtrack.
of the Caribbean?
I think
oh wait,
did. No. Pirates of the Caribbean was John Williams, I think. I don't know. Look it up.
I'm looking it up. Right
Hans Zimmer also did Interstellar.
Oh,
such an iconic soundtrack. Oh my gosh. Man, we need to talk about Hans Zimmer for an episode.
We should just start talking about him right now. He is related.
Yeah, he is related.
First of all, his song Oogwayism, really good. All of his themes are really good. He actually did the arrangement of I'm So Sorry for Kung Fu Panda 3. Mm-hmm. So he worked with them to figure that out. He did Dune. He did No Time to Die, which had an amazing soundtrack. He did the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run.
Wait, so Hans Zimmer, I think he's worked on 200 movies.
I think he has, yeah.
I should look that up.
He took part in Blade Runner, The Lion King.
Blade Runner has good music, I know that.
Boss Baby, Kung Fu Panda 3.
Boss Baby, I don't know if the music was necessarily good, but I mean,
it couldn't have been that bad.
It worked for the movie, obviously.
Did he do Spider-Man 2? No, he did not. No, it couldn't have been him.
Okay, let's see.
This has become into the Hans Zimmer podcast. Did he do
Top Gun Maverick? I'm looking on IMDb.
I don't know.
He did Dune, I think.
Yeah, he did.
Dune had a
Mark Webb
good
is the
soundtrack.
director. I'm an idiot.
Trying to just look at the more known movies here. The Lion King?
Yeah, he did The Lion King as well. Okay, he did Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Dang. Blade Runner 2049. Did you say that one already?
Yeah.
Oh.
Interstellar, Son of God, Rush.
Terminator.
Man of Steel. Oh, the Man of Steel soundtrack is so good.
Oh, speaking
Dark
of which...
Knight Rises. Madagascar 3. Madagascar 3. He did Rango. Oh my gosh, Rango.
Really?
Rango's soundtrack is amazing. He also did, I think he did all 3 Kung Fu Panda movies. He did Megamind with the Bad to the Bone rendition. You've heard that, right? During like the Black Mamba scene where it's
say
like...
that. Sorry. Can you say that again? I wasn't paying attention.
So Hans Zimmer arranged the Megamind scene where Bad to the Bone plays, but on an orchestra. When like like Megamind's putting on the black cape and it's like bum 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 bum. He did all the arrangements of Bad to the Bone for that movie.
Oh, speaking of which, I want to talk about Hans Zimmer working with Guthrie Govan live for the song Man of Steel. So an already amazing song, but at some point he works with Guthrie Govan, who
explain that.
He's a famous guitarist. He's not too well known, but he's still famous. But essentially, he is so good at guitar that people are scared to get up on stage and play with him. I mean, like,
that makes sense.
Who's someone that people would know? Steve Vai.
Do you guys know
people
Santana?
Don't really know who Steve Vai is these days, but he's considered one of the greatest guitarists of all time. And I think he talks about how good Guthrie Govan is and how he might be the best guitarist.
Do you guys know who Santana is? I'm sure Santana's probably talked about how good he is.
I know who Santana is, yeah.
I'm wondering if our listeners do.
But yeah, so you guys should actually listen to this. Hans Zimmer with Guthrie Govan, Man of Steel. Such an amazing rendition.
Yeah, so if you guys take nothing else away from this Kung Fu Panda cast,
listen to Hans Zimmer.
Definitely listen to Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
Because above all else, he carries that movie really well.
I mean, like, what's really funny, I listen to a lot of rock music in 80s, 70s, 90s stuff. Stuff that people don't listen to as much these days. You know, it's like my one genre. But like my second genre is like Hans Zimmer. And
your genre just Hans Zimmer, not
like
even soundtrack.
Movie,
Hans Zimmer.
Movie soundtrack.
It's called soundtrack on most platforms. on your platform is apparently called Hans Zimmer.
Or movie scores.
Dude, I listen to movie scores all the time. We're going to have to do an
too.
episode about movie scores because I got to talk about Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
Oh, I also want to talk about the movie Oblivion, the score for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love that score.
Yeah.
But that one's done. It's not Hans Zimmer.
No.
It's someone else. I forgot the name.
John Powell
Some
is
amazing
also a good
music.
composer.
Oh, it's M83 and someone else. I can't remember the other big composer.
Another soundtrack we're going to have to bring up is Daft Punk doing Tron.
Daft Punk. Oh my gosh.
I didn't know they could do a soundtrack. That was insane.
You know, they have their popular music that
Kung
they
Fu
make
Panda,
themselves, but
Daft Punk edition.
Tron! Oh my gosh, the music
Kung
in that
Fu
movie.
Panda Daft Punk edition would go hard, honestly. Anyways, I think we should probably stop talking about...
We really talked about a
really
lot of
talked
different
about-
stuff today.
But that's
didn't
okay,
we?
because it's a podcast. You know, we're allowed to just, like, kind of go off on goofy tangents. Is there anything else you want to say about Kung Fu Panda 3?
Listen to Hans Zimmer.
Listen to Hans Zimmer. Anything else about Kung Fu Panda 4?
Well, we're excited to see it.
Yeah. We'll probably do some kind of, if we bring up DreamWorks stuff again, like Shrek or anything, we can definitely talk more about any new trailers that come out for Kung Fu Panda 4. We'll keep you guys informed. But anyway, for now, thank you guys so much for listening. It's been great. This has been Mirage and Poe. This is the Good Morning Let's Argue podcast. Go eat a banana. Have a great day.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
See ya.